We are learning new details about a high-profile murder case in Lexington as a jury is selected for a trial.
State police are searching for 2 men after 2 bodies were found in separate counties.
Louisville, Kentucky is preparing to host thousands of people from around the world coming here for Muhammad Ali's funeral. I'm Kenneth Craig in Louisville with those details coming up.
This is WKYT News at Noon.
Good afternoon from WKYT News. I'm Barbara Bailey.
I'm Bill Bryant. Here's what's happening at noon. The tributes are still pouring in for boxing legend Muhammad Ali.
The 3-time heavyweight champ and Kentucky native died over the weekend at age 74. Kenneth Craig is in Louisville now with a preview of his public memorial services, which are expected to draw tens of thousands of people. It's our top story at noon.
Muhammad Ali was a champion fighter inside the ring. Outside, he was a champion of tolerance and inclusion. Both of those themes will take center stage during 2 massive public services for the boxing legend. People from all faiths will be invited to attend an Islamic prayer program Thursday at Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, the site of Ali's last fight in his hometown in 1961. Another public service will be held Friday at Louisville's Yum Center, where a flag is flying at half-staff. Ali's children and former President Bill Clinton will be among those eulogizing a man simply known as the greatest. Friend and one-time rival George Foreman told CBS This Morning that Ali's power wasn't in his punch, but his presence.
To say he was the greatest boxer is a put down. He was bigger than boxing. He was bigger than anything.
In all, more than 30,000 members of the public will be able to attend both services. Ali's family says he was part of the planning and gave the events his blessing before he died.
Daughter Layla Ali says she's grateful.
I'm happy knowing that he's no longer struggling, and that's what gives me comfort. So again, I'm sad that he's not here. I'm sad that I can't hug him and kiss him.
And she said there will never be anyone else like him. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Louisville, Kentucky.
Ali died of septic shock. He had battled Parkinson's disease for more than 3 decades.
Nearly 3 years after the crime, a high-profile Lexington murder trial is underway. Mark Taylor is accused of beating Alex Johnson to death and then dumping his body in the Kentucky River back in 2013. WKYT's Mark Barber is outside the Fayette County Court Complex where jury selection began this morning.
A pool of about 45 jurors to select who will decide the case. Typically, 12 jurors and a couple alternates are chosen. While we can't show you what's happening inside the courtroom, we can describe it for you. Attorneys have been asking jurors a number of questions about the case, trying to whittle out people who have biases that would keep Mark Taylor from receiving a fair trial. 4 jurors have already been excused. Taylor is on trial for the 2013 murder of Alex Johnson. The 32-year-old worked as a chef for the University of Kentucky. Police say Taylor kidnapped him with the help of a coworker and then beat him to death and dumped his body in the Kentucky River. As far as motive goes, prosecutors think drugs likely played a role. They say Johnson was selling large amounts of marijuana. The Commonwealth's attorney reminded potential jurors that Taylor is a man on trial, not Johnson. This morning, we are also getting a better idea of who could be called to testify in the case. The Commonwealth's attorney says their list of witnesses include Johnson's girlfriend and mother, as well as workers at the state lab, a number of Lexington police officers, and 2 officers in Texas who arrested Taylor near the Mexican border. Timothy Ballard, the second man charged in this case, has accepted a plea deal, so he's not on trial. He's expected to testify against Taylor this week. The judge expects this trial to last another 7 days. In Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. And Taylor's defense attorneys will get a chance to question jurors this afternoon. The judge expects to hear the opening statements at about 2 o'clock.
Police are trying to figure out if the discoveries of 2 bodies in 2 separate counties over the weekend are connected. A man's body was discovered under Slate Creek Bridge in Montgomery County Saturday. Investigators found a second body at a cabin in Wolfe County. And as WKYT's Victor Puente reports, so far 2 arrests have been made in the case.
The 2 people charged so far aren't charged with killing that man, But state police say they did tamper with evidence after his body was moved. Saturday afternoon, a man fishing along Slate Creek in Montgomery County came across a body beneath this bridge. That started a homicide investigation which led Kentucky State Police to Wolfe County. The arrest citations for Carla Hunt and Talmadge Branham say they were with 3 men at a rental cabin off of Kentucky 11 when 2 of those men got into a fight with a third and shot him. That man's body was found in Slate Creek. Police say Branham and Hunt drove those other men back to Lexington and then tampered with physical evidence when they stopped at a car wash in Winchester to wash blood out of their rental car. State police said a second body was found outside of that Wolfe County cabin Sunday morning. The Wolfe County coroner told me they're working to get an identity on that person. They haven't released how she died. Police say the man who was shot is from Dayton, Ohio. The Montgomery County coroner is trying to notify his family. About 45 minutes ago, state police told me they were actively searching for the 2 men from that cabin who were taken back to Lexington, but so far there haven't been any other arrests. In Montgomery County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Now, Branham and Hunt will be arraigned Thursday morning in Montgomery County. It's estimated that at least 40,000 people in Kentucky are dealing with a drug addiction. About 10,000 of those use the treatment drug methadone. Our investigations team has looked at several types of drug treatments and learned that one size doesn't fit all. A doctor specializing in methadone says there's a negative stigma they deal with when it comes to methadone clinics.
So when I hear things like, it's just a place for somebody to go get high, it just really upsets me, because I'm living proof that it helps.
Tonight on WKYT News at 6, our Miranda Combs will visit a methadone clinic and talk to patients and doctors to see if it's hurting or helping the state's drug epidemic.
Well, it is shaping up to be a beautiful day in the Bluegrass State. We have those sunny skies, low humidity, and it's warm out there. Perfect weather for a day out on the links. And WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris has done just that. He's live at the University Club for the St. Joseph Foundation Golf Tournament. Hey, Micah.
Yeah, we're looking at a beautiful day. I mean, it's clear skies. It's absolutely fantastic outside. This is a perfect day to be out here playing golf. We're actually out here for the St. Joseph Foundation Hospital Foundation Golf Tournament, and we're out here at the University Club. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous outside. Before we talk about that, though, let's talk about the weather and get you up to date what's going on outside. And we see beautiful condition, live sky camera, an awesome looking shot outside with bright blue skies. It's going to be hard pressed to actually pick up a lot of cloud cover today. Now, mainly off into the evening, we may start to see that, and into the night with a couple of isolated showers. But for the most part, the rest of the day looks fantastic. What we're going to be dealing with temperature-wise, well, we actually get off in the 80s. There are already a couple of spots here and there, some 70s and 80s outside, but low to mid 80s later on this afternoon, and we'll finish that off with that day looking beautiful. But you know what? This isn't even the nicest day in your forecast. Not even close. So we're going to be talking about this front coming in tonight. I'm going to show you when it arrives, what it's going to bring with it, maybe some rain, and also those much cooler temperatures to talk about, which still looks like fantastic weather for golf the next few days too. We're going to get into that coming up in 10 minutes.
All righty, we'll see you then. Thank you very much, Micah. Preparations are underway on Florida's Gulf Coast for the arrival of Tropical Storm Colin. Forecasters say the storm is likely to bring up to 8 inches of rain to western Florida, as well as eastern Georgia and coastal areas of the Carolinas through Tuesday. Colin's maximum sustained winds were last tracked at up to 40 miles per hour. The storm is expected to approach the Florida coast this afternoon or evening. Funeral services are underway at this noon hour for a nationally recognized Kentucky author and financial expert. 57-year-old died suddenly over the weekend while visiting his wife in New Orleans, where she is president of a school. Don McNay was a financial consultant who made a name for himself, writing nationally published articles, making lots of TV appearances. He had a column in the Washington Post. His service is being held right now at Cathedral of Christ the King in Lexington. Well, crews in Lexington will be setting off fireworks tonight. It'll be a short one, just a test run at the new location.
City leaders announced last week the 4th of July display will be launched from a site on Alumni Drive near the Arboretum this year. The test tonight will last approximately 3 minutes. For years, the fireworks had been launched from R.J. Corman facility near Rupp Arena. But the company wouldn't allow the city to use that property this year, so that's the reason for the change.
There you go, there it is. And so remember that about 9 o'clock tonight. Well, prosecutors are expected to decide today if the mother of the boy who climbed into that gorilla exhibit at the Cincinnati Zoo will be charged, just as the exhibit gets set to reopen. We'll have a preview of the announcement coming up on Kentucky's #1 Midday News.
Also ahead, country music legend Dolly Parton gives a humorous take on North Carolina's controversial bathroom bill. Find out what she had to say next on WKYT.
Welcome back to WKYT News at noon. We're expected to find out in about an hour if prosecutors plan to file charges against the family of a boy who got into the Cincinnati Zoo's gorilla exhibit last weekend.
Zoo workers were forced to shoot and kill 17-year-old Harambe after he dragged the boy through water for about 10 minutes. Police handed the case over to prosecutors Thursday, and this afternoon they'll announce their decision. Legal experts say charges are unlikely. We'll be live streaming the news conference at 1 o'clock on WKYT.com.
The gorilla exhibit has been closed since the incident, so the changes could be made to the fence surrounding the habitat. Officials say the new barrier is now 42 inches high and has solid wooden beams at the top and bottom with knotted rope netting. The changes were made despite the previous barrier passing the inspection by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. The exhibit again expected to reopen tomorrow. Hillary Clinton is closer to clinching the Democratic nomination for president. It could come tomorrow. Clinton won big last night in Puerto Rico's primary. Along with the delegates she picked up Saturday from a victory in the U.S. Virgin Islands. 6 states will hold primaries and caucuses tomorrow, including California. Well, country music legend Dolly Parton is now weighing in on the bathroom bill controversy ahead of her first North American tour in 25 years, which will be kicking off this Friday in North Carolina.
Now, the law states that people must use the bathroom of the gender on their birth certificate and not the one they identify with. But despite ongoing controversy, Dolly says she has no plans of canceling the concert, saying, quote, "I think everybody should be treated with respect. I don't judge people. I just know if I have to pee, I'm going to pee. I don't care where it's going to be." That's a quote from Dolly, as only Dolly can put it. Bruce Springsteen, Pearl Jam, and Demi Lovato are just some of the stars who've canceled shows in North Carolina over that bill.
Miss USA 2016 is District of Columbia.
There you have it. Miss District of Columbia, Deshauna Barber, was crowned the new Miss USA in Las Vegas. She beat out 51 other contestants, including the first runner-up, Miss Hawaii. Barber grew up in a military family, got her degree from Virginia State University, and currently serves in the U.S. Army as a logistics commander at Fort Meade, Maryland.
Coming up, 3 people have been arrested after 3 robberies this morning that led police on a chase through Fayette and Woodford counties.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
University Club, this is just off Leestown Road here in Lexington. Check out this shot. We're here for the St. Joseph Hospital Foundation Golf Tournament. It's an absolutely fantastic event for a great cause, as all proceeds benefit the community outreach program. And the outreach program actually provides medical help for people in eastern Kentucky. So it's not only a great cause, but it's perfect weather for it. I would say this is the best day of the week and they picked a perfect time. Actually, there are better days than this, and it's still gorgeous outside. Let's look at our temps and check out across the region as we are looking at those 70s, even a couple of 80s sprinkled in here and there. And look, it's just a really nice day in store, but there are better days ahead. It's unbelievable to even think about that as you're looking outside. And we're going to be looking around the area with those temperatures holding on to the 80s later on this afternoon as well. So it's going to be a little bit of a warm one in store, but the good news here is that we're actually dealing with really nice wind outside. And then we get into your 24-hour planner. Now, your 24-hour planner, like I was talking about, we're in the 80s later on this afternoon. But this is the last day of the 80s until late in the work week. We go overnight and into tomorrow. There's a front moving through, and that front will actually bring us a slight chance at a couple of showers later on this evening and off into the night. And that's mainly for north of I-64, so that's your best bet at that. But what this front does is you look at the bigger picture here is it's going to knock down our temperatures. That's the big picture here. So if you're looking for some much better weather than, say, even this, well, it's coming in the next couple of days as we look for those temperatures there in the 70s. Today's talkers, here's what we're going to be dealing with. That front overnight, that knocks down the temperatures, 70s, and also mainly dry conditions. As I spoke about just a few seconds ago, we're going to be dealing with maybe a couple of showers later on tonight, but really, it's when a lot of people are asleep, so it really won't affect us. Now, tomorrow, it will give us a small, very, very small chance at a couple of showers, but still, that's mainly dry too. And then we go through the 70s, it's all nice, it's all great, and then we look outside there toward the weekend, and we're holding on to temperatures close to 90 degrees, so a big swing of temperatures. Let's check out your 7-day forecast and let me show you that. And your 7 days shows that perfectly. 80s today, 70s the next few days, that humidity way down. This is perfect for any golf tournaments, any golf outings, or any events you have going on. So yeah, I mean, it's just great weather this week. I really don't see any problems whatsoever, except off toward the weekend where we're at 88 to about 91 degrees. And some of these particular models are showing 91, 92, but I'm not on that boat just yet. Going to wait it out a little bit and see what the trend does. But yeah, as of right now, it goes down and then it goes right back up there for the weekend. But like I said, this is the 27th annual St. Joseph Foundation Hospital Golf Tournament. And we're out here at the University Club, just spectacular views out here and gorgeous weather. It's fantastic. We're going to be talking about how low these temperatures go. Not only that with that humidity, but we're going to talk about what they are doing out in the community, out in the public as well with St. Joseph Hospital. We'll have that coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
And we look forward to that, and certainly a great forecast. Thank you very much, Micah. It's a nice day out there.
Great day to be there, yes.
Keep it here on WKYT. It's the time of year when college players are trying to prove that they are NBA ready.
Including a former Wildcat who's quieting the critics. Dave Baker's next with sports.
As the struggles seemingly increased during the season for Scalabissiere, some wondered how the UK staff could have been so wrong about this guy. Well, John Calipari insisted the talent was there, and perhaps, well, Cal just played him out of position. Are you surprised the Kentucky coach was right again? A representative from all 30 NBA teams in Orlando yesterday to watch the former Wildcat big man work out. It was a workout put on by Scal's team at IMG Academy. He was able to show off his range, knocking down NBA range threes. He's also been working on his post-up game and working with a nutritionist to put on at least 10 pounds. Scal is still expected to be a lottery pick, and the team just outside of the lottery at 11, Orlando, met with Scal after the workout, as did the Rockets. He'll also work out for the Lakers in L.A. Also working out over the weekend was former Cat and still fan favorite Kyle Wiltshire, who worked out for the Jazz. Afterwards, he talked about being at Gonzaga and getting in some action against former Utah great John Stockton.
He can still bring it. If it's game point, he's going to foul you, whatever it takes. You know, he's a competitor. It's really cool to see that. You know, that's what made him so special, and he's one of the all-time greats. It's really cool that, you know, I've been able to learn from one of the greatest players ever to play the game.
Wiltshire no longer with that shaggy look in the league last night. A moment of silence to honor the greatest. Muhammad Ali before Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Second quarter, LeBron James lays it in. Cavs had a 26-22 lead, but James, one of the game's greatest, finished just 19. More importantly, turned the ball over 7 times. But the Warriors would go on a run late in the half. Draymond Green with a 3 to give Golden State a 7-point lead. Warriors by 11 at the break. Second half, oh my gosh, it was all Golden State. Steph Curry. That's long distance for everybody but him. 18 points. Warriors shoot 45% from 3. I mean, they wallop the Cavs. 110-77. They take a 2-0 lead as the series goes back to Cleveland. Kevin Love with a concussion. No word on his availability for Game 3. Tonight on the Big Blue Insider with Dick Gabriel. Hall of Fame sports writer Dave Kindred. Now, many people know him from the Sporting News, but he covered Muhammad Ali for the Courier-Journal during the early stages of the champ's career. Dick Gabriel will be talking to him, obviously, there, and that's an interview you won't want to miss. That's at 6 on 630 WLAP. And, guys, that's a look at sports on your Monday.
And we thank you very much, Dave, and hope you'll keep it here on WKYT. Much more coming up in the next half hour of news.
Crews are still trying to figure out the cause of an overnight fire that heavily damaged a Central Kentucky restaurant.
I'm Phil Pendleton in Laurel County at 12:30. I'll tell you more about the case against a man accused in a high-profile double murder.
Tuesday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $260 million, and Wednesday night's Powerball jackpot is $123 million.